Welcome everybody to the Genesis Mindset, and in this episode I'm going to do an exploration into XUSD. So as I continue to learn about it, I get more excited about it, and so obviously I need to let everybody know that I'm part of the team and I am receiving a distribution of the token supply. So this is I suppose this can be considered a paid promotion. So it is the only project I've ever been comfortable being paid for, and I'm very proud to be part of the team. I'm very proud to be part of such a talented team. So as I've mentioned in all the previous episodes, I've spoken to all the team members one-on-one. Well, not all of them one-on-one. I've spoken to them in a group and most of them one-on-one except for Nikki. So I'm really looking forward to getting to know Nikki more. But with that, today I will be taking a look at the price chart and how it represents the best value with maximum gains to the $1. So if you're into the $1 stablecoin narrative, obviously this is a Vibratile asset, which I'm going to start off with. But there are also some things I have been learning today which blew my mind. So especially with a potential tax hack. I don't know if this tax hack is going to apply globally. I imagine it will. I imagine it's going to be the same principle. But we've been having a discussion with my friends in an Australian cryptocurrency chat. So this certainly applies to Australia. So this won't be a comprehensive exploration as it takes me a while to learn these things. So this is just continuing my discussions that I've been having with Anders and John, and you can check the link in the description there. And I'm going to look at the Genesis distribution phase with staking rewards, liquidity providing, and the vibes past mechanics. So finally, and then at the end, an insane ratio opportunity, which I think is overwhelmingly good value. So we'll get straight into it. So, okay, now, conceptual analogy. So XUSD, it's not a stable coin. This is the first thing to be mindful of. So conceptual analogy, imagine a loose dangling rope bridge that you need to tighten in order to cross. To raise the bridge, you shorten the rope, and when it gets too high, you add more rope to bring it back down. Similarly, XUSD contracts its supply by burning tokens, shortening the rope to raise the price. When the price is too high, it inflates the supply, which adds rope. So to bring it back to the target. So this simple analogy helps illustrate the mechanics of XUSD. So it's balancing contraction and inflation to maintain its peg. So it's a Vibratile asset that oscillates along the $1 line. This is really an important thing to understand. So again, these docs are old. They're currently being updated. So I probably, if you want to look at these old docs, you're more than welcome to go and look at these old docs, but I'm only just taking parts of it. And I'm just sharing with you pretty much this tax hack idea that I thought about today, which I thought was just awesome. So straight into the charts. So first of all, I just want to show you here. So we've got these, well, actually, obviously, first of all, the current price at the minute to the dollar, it's a 293x. So it represents the best gains out of all the stable coin narratives. So PDI, PUSDT, PUSDC, Treasury Bill, all these tokens which are speculating to go towards a $1 mark, XUSD is the best value. So I'll go into a little bit more detail about this in just a second. So first of all, obviously one of the major things about it, actually, first I'll go into this first. So the phase that we're in here. So there's three phases. So even the name of the phase has changed. So it's not actually called the Genesis phase. So it's the first phase. So during this first phase, it's going to last up to 25 weeks. So during the Genesis phase, approximately 40 million XUSD tokens will be distributed weekly. So it's going to go for 25 weeks, 40 million tokens distributed weekly. So 1/8 of the total supply is allocated to staking pools. So 1/8 of the 40 million. The remaining portion is dedicated to the trading rewards module. So this phase is crucial for the initial distribution of XUSD and for engaging the community, setting the stage for the long-term growth of the XUSD ecosystem. So that's why now I'm going to start to monitor this. So whether this number changes, again, it's just for now, let's just consider this conceptually. We're in a distribution phase and it's going to last up to a certain amount of weeks. So whether the 25 weeks is going to change once the docs are actually updated, maybe it is going to update, but let's just take it as 25 weeks. So at the moment, we're on 18 weeks. 25 weeks is coming up. To the best of my knowledge, it is going to stay fixed at 25 weeks. So in other words, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks to 25 weeks. So we're on week 18, 7 weeks. to week 25. So in other words, for the next 7 weeks, 40 million XUSD is going to be distributed weekly. So those distributions are going to go to, for example, stakers. So if you're staking, this is nice. So the TVL has actually gone up, probably because the price has gone up as well. So it's half a million in TVL, and you can stake Pulse Chain, INC, PulseX, PDI, Wrap Bitcoin, Love, XUSD, BFF, Atropa, EHEX, X, PHEX, OneSwap, NBA. That's another one of Surfacing's tokens, which he did for Maria, when Maria was like asking someone to do a token, and he just made a token. So this was it's not part of the Atropa ecosystem, but it's kind of in a way like loosely related to Maria, I suppose. So anyone who obviously watches this channel for Atropa content, and obviously there's quite a few Atropa kind of tokens here. So, okay. So as you can deposit, and you're going to get staking rewards. So those 1/8 is going to get you some of those staking rewards. So that's just the first thing to be mindful of. And it's going to get distributed out in proportion to how much you actually have in those pools. Now, the stake assigned tokens for the Genesis phase pools. So to start earning XUSD through staking, follow these simple steps. So choose from the assigned token. So this list here is obviously, this is an old list. This is essentially the list here. So the new docs will have all of this. And then you buy any assigned token. So ensure you have enough of the selected token to stake and earn XUSD. You approve the contract, authorize the staking contract to use your chosen token for deposit, stake your tokens, and then you start earning XUSD. So you watch your XUSD grow as your rewards accumulate over time. So now, if you don't have any XUSD, but let's just say you've got a lot of PDI and you go, you know what? I want to do some of this with my PDI. You would simply go to Zap XUSD and it will convert in just one click. It will convert. Oh, actually, you know what? I wonder if in this wallet I have any of these tokens. I wonder if I've got some Atropa in this wallet, and convert half into liquidity. Okay. So I've got, hang on a second. I would actually need, so hang on. Okay. All right. So if I do Zap XUSD, it's going to take half the value or however much of the value. So if I had 1 million XUSD in here, I could say, okay, I'm going to do 500,000 XUSD, but obviously I've got none in there. And then it would split that in half. So then 250,000 of that XUSD, it would just automatically convert into this asset here, which is EHEX. Or I could do Zap in, which is, it's going to take the EHEX and it's going to do the opposite of that. And it's going to convert half of that into XUSD. Okay, so there's this function. So that makes it nice and easy. The other way, obviously, is just doing it through liquidity providing on PulseX. And then this will recognize that you have the liquidity tokens. You might have to refresh this. If you've just created the liquidity pools, then you refresh this. Okay, so this part for me was very interesting. Obviously, this is why I wanted to start earning yield ASAP, particularly now while we're in the distribution phase, because we've got 7 more weeks. So now is the best time to start providing liquidity. Obviously, the things that you need to take into account is obviously, I mean, it's going to be difficult to find a pair like this, but I would certainly go through and carefully explore these kinds of pairs to find which you think would be a really good pair. I think possibly a really, really good pair might be something like EHEX to XUSD, simply because, actually, I'll tell you what, let's actually just have a look at that, just out of curiosity. I'll tell you why. I think EHEX might be a really, 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 really good pair. So obviously, PHEX. So if you do it with PDI, so actually, okay, I've got the PDI chart open, but then I'll get the hex one. So I'm pretty sure that's EHEX. So I'll just get those two. So I'll just show the ratio. I'm going to go into the ratios more a little bit later. So what's going on, Puffy, as this loads? Yes, it is a late one tonight. It took me a while to kind of prepare all this. It's been a busy day. Margaritas, when are you going to cover ORD and KORD? Maybe never. I mean, if you guys want to talk about it, you guys can reach out to me and jump on a stream. And I've said to Crypto Elliot, jump on a stream and more than welcome to have a chat on the show about it. But yeah, I know nothing about it. And I have nothing against it. But yeah, I mean, it's not easy keeping up with everything and talking about everything. So yeah, I mean, and these days as well, people are asking me to do shorter versions of things. So I'm in the process of like clipping these long forms down into short forms. And my job goes from 8 in the morning till 9 p.m. at night every single day, except on Sundays where it only goes till 3 p.m. So take the gym and all that kind of stuff. Like it's, time is something that, none of us really have, but yeah. Good morning. Have a wonderful day. Same to you, Alex. Replay gang. Nice, man. So good morning from across the world. Have a wonderful, nice Friday. Nice, man. Same to you, Frankie Lloyd White. Okay, so XUSD. So obviously, if you do this now, and if you believe that XUSD is going to go to parity and PDAR is going to go to parity, obviously, it's not really going to matter, actually. So XUSD and PDAR could be an exceptional pair because either way, they're both speculated to go to $1. So this could be a really good pair to chuck into a liquidity pool because at the end, whichever side that you have, it doesn't really matter because they're both going to be worth $1. So in my opinion, this is probably one of the best ones to put it in. And the sooner you do it, the better, because you're going to be getting that distribution now within these next few weeks while we're in this distribution phase. And to be perfectly honest, I didn't even think of doing this, and I'm really glad that as I do these streams, I have these ideas. So yeah, this is a phenomenal one right here. And the other one that I would say is probably EHEX, simply because EHEX is valued low at the moment. And I mean, yeah, EHEX is low value at the moment. So it's like, if they both continue to gently go up and to the right, then you're not really gonna lose value on either side. So this could be a really good one. But to be perfectly honest, this is probably, I would consider this to be like the best one, especially if you believe in the stable narrative. Because again, at the moment, if you put it in liquidity, the ratio is 0.24. So basically, you would get 4 XUSD for every one PDAI. So in other words, if you had 10,000 PDAI, you would have to put 40,000 XUSD in liquidity. And so you would be, it would be, yeah, that's correct. But then as they both get to $1, you would end up with more PDAI actually, because you would actually end up with more PDAI than XUSD, because eventually then when they both get to 1-to-1 and it stays at 1-to-1, then you would have like 25,000 of each. So it's like you can't really lose, in other words. So I'm really glad I did this stream just for that, because I didn't even think of that for myself. So yep, there we go. So just things to be mindful of. I just want to get you guys mindful of that. So Matt Wilson, what's going on, Matt Wilson? Good to see you in here, Matt. So yeah, these are the things. Honestly, Matt, you encouraged me to want to talk more about this actually when you were interested in this. So Matt is one of my best friends, one of my meditation buddies, and he's become interested in it. So when he becomes interested in it, I'm like, okay, that's cool. Then it makes me feel like I'm onto something. When the friends that I really love and trust are into the things that I'm talking about, it makes me want to talk about them more, because it's like we're on the same wavelength. So what's going on, Matt? And good morning, Pedro, or good afternoon, Pedro. So, okay, XUSD. So now the really cool thing about this tax hack. So, okay, let's go one step at a time before I get into the tax hack, because let's just go to the next step. So the next step is, in order to take advantage of this tax hack, the whole concept of this is it's a dynamic vibratile asset. So remember that we said at the start, it's not supposed to peg at $1. It's supposed to oscillate around it. And then the way that it pegs at the $1 is through burning and minting. So in other words, basically how this works is, if we go back to this, so the contraction is, so the mechanics of XUSD, the contraction occurs when the token supply decreases, preventing inflation. So XUSD reduces its supply through a burning mechanism, removing tokens from circulation. So obviously, as tokens are being burnt, the value of the token is going to go up. Obviously, at the moment, tokens are being distributed, so it's inflating, so the value of the token is going to go down. So this mechanism is also going to occur when it gets to $1. It's not going to be a distribution, but there's going to be a minting function and a burning function. So when it's oscillating around the $1, the beauty of this is it doesn't need backing liquidity. That's the beauty of this. So unlike I mean, unlike every stablecoin, this doesn't need backing liquidity because it's based algorithmically on this burning and minting function. So as the token drops below $1, then, so let's actually zoom in on this. Hang on a second. Let's zoom in. Oh, maybe it needs to be like, okay. So now let's just say we're at the, let's just say now it's March or April, let's say October. So I just drew this arbitrary line. I'll zoom in nice and close so it's like really clear. So I've got another line here at $1.10 and another line here at 90 cents. So now let's say it gets to $1, then it's oscillating around. So what's going to happen? So when it dips below, then the tokens are going to be burnt. But the tokens that are burnt are done by the holders. So the people who can burn the tokens, so this is where the vibe pass comes into it. So, okay, actually one step at a time. So again, okay, now just covering this concept. So it's going to oscillate around this. So when it gets below here, we need to burn the tokens to get it back to the peg. And then if people start buying, so people will buy down here as well when it gets to 90 cents. So people will buy in the expectation that it's going to go to $1. People will burn, and then it will get to the dollar. And if people still keep buying and it goes over, or if it gets burnt too much supply gets burnt, then the tokens will start getting minted out, which is going to reduce the value of the token. So it's going to inflate. So then it's going to bring it back down to the dollar. So this is very, very important to keep a note of. So now let's go into this. So basically, I'll just go over this. So again, this is the old one. There's going to be an updated version of the docs, but again, I like going over it. So the dynamic vibratile credits. So vibratile credits that change over time based on the user's interactions on the blockchain. So the definition: the dynamic vibratile credits refer to a flexible system. The vibratile credits change based on users' interactions on the blockchain. This approach is decentralized and controlled by the community as opposed to the government. This therefore allows XUSD to be directly aligned with the principles of DeFi. So the concept here, so the dynamic nature. The term dynamic means that the vibratile credits per transaction change over time rather than remaining static. This flexibility allows the system to adapt to various users' behaviors and transaction volumes. So I'm not going to do a full deep dive on this because, again, I'm going to wait for the updated docs to go, but I'm just going to cover this concept here. So the Vibe Pass NFT. So getting the Vibe Pass NFT, this is the important part. This is what's actually going to allow you to earn the Vibe score. So then the Vibe score is actually the burning, and where the burning and the minting actually comes into it. So to get a Vibe Pass at the moment, so when you go to the website, you would go to buy Vibe Pass. So it's like an NFT. So it's a usable NFT. So for example, the Vibe Pass at the moment is 224,427 one swap. And so at the moment, if we compare that to Pulse Chain, it's $406. Now you could look into the one thing that Surfacing was speculating on. So as we get closer to the dollar mark, or as this narrative continues to play out, because I mean, realistically, just the burning of tokens is going to get it to the dollar. Just the burning of tokens without any buy pressure. That's the thing about this system. So because of the actual amount of token supply out there, and that's something that I'll go into in just a moment as well. So one thing that John Surfacing was speculating on. So the key dev, basically this is a lot of this is really his baby, and so he's speculating that the price of one swap is going to go up as the price of XUSD goes up. The price of one swap is going to go up because people are then going to want to purchase a Vibe Pass. So again, if you really love this idea and you're bullish on it, it's, for me, I mean, okay, yeah, $406. I guess you could consider that to be expensive, but the amount of rewards and potential rewards you can get from it, I think would definitely outweigh the cost of it. And again, the sooner you get it, the quicker that you can start building up your credit rating. And this is really, really what's important to this ecosystem. So at the moment, it's extremely cheap. And I mean, to Pulse Chain, it's extremely cheap. But OneSwap is also a reward token, which means reward tokens also get dumped. So it also could go down more. That's the thing. So it's up to you to do that research and make that decision on your own. So Now, again, because it's an algorithmic stablecoin, if you have a look at the token supply, it's only 260 million. When you have a look at something like PDI, there's like, there's over 20 billion tokens, and there's all these different kinds of burning protocols across Pulse Chain that are trying to burn that supply down. Obviously, LUSD had trillions; it was never going to work. This has got less than a billion, so 260 million. Now, obviously, okay, so the top holder has 29 million. The second top holder has 14.6 million. So the top holder owns 11%. Now, I'm imagining that the top holders is probably the team members. These are exactly the people who you want having the largest supply, because they're the ones that are going to protect the price. Because if this is like, I don't know which, maybe one of these is John's wallet. I don't know. He probably won't want to dox himself, I'm sure, but I'm imagining probably one of these wallets on the top page is definitely John's. Now, do you think John is going to want to destroy the project, or do you think John is going to see the project succeed? This is the thing. So obviously, John would be perfectly aware that if it gets to $1 and he sells his whole supply, then it's going to really destroy the price. But then this is the beauty of this system, where if it really does destroy the price, then obviously, yeah, the tokens can start to be burnt. And as the tokens are burnt, as people start to burn their own tokens, or as they start to buy tokens, then this is where the beauty of this ecosystem comes into it. So now, if you have a Vibe Pass, then you're going to get this credit rating. So again, I'm not going to go fully into this. It's just conceptual overview, because I wanted to cover this concept that I was thinking about today when we were talking about the tax. So now, maybe I should have just left that line. Okay, so let's say it vibrates along here. So now, get another little circle. So let's say it's down here. So first of all, it gets down here, and then me, I got a Vibe Pass. I want to protect the price, and you know what? I'm going to be a good community member, and I'm going to burn some of my XUSD supply at 90 cents. So obviously, when I burn those tokens, that's a taxable event. Now, as I burn the tokens, I get points towards when it's going to be minted out for distribution. So therefore, when it gets back up to this point up here, so when it gets back up to here, then it's going to get minted. Then it's going to get distributed out to people with a Vibe Pass. And basically, I don't fully understand this, and I'm going to have, I'll just show you guys this actually. This is Katrina's baby. So Katrina is like she's like a math whiz, quantum whiz. So I will do a talk with Katrina, and we'll go over this probably next week in an AMA next week. But again, I just want to introduce this concept to you guys. So this is the Vibe Pass trading rewards share and distribution. So she said it took her a long time to do this, and a lot of math and a lot of exploring. And basically, she created this model for return. So this makes sure that everyone gets a decent share of rewards, and we don't let people who just spam burns get most of the reward pool. So it works with everyone contributing together mindset. So this is what I loved. It works with the everyone contributing together mindset, because obviously there's going to be people who have bots that can just basically spam the burning. And if they spam the burning, then they're going to get the most rewards. So she's designed this system, which she's going to have to explain. But basically, this is like a classical linear reward system. And this is the XUSD exponential reward system. And then, the cumulative payout, which is an exponential returns model. And then this is a classical linear model. So classical linear models generally don't work, because classical linear models on reward ecosystems, basically it ends up just being a down-only chart. If you look at, what is it? What's that one that's the fork? Liquid loans. If you look at liquid loans, it stinks. The reward token stinks. It's just like down, forever down. So something like this will alleviate that, plus all the other mechanics that are built into XUSD. Now, going to this. So now, if I burn some of my tokens here, this is the beautiful thing that I was thinking about. Then I get some minted tokens here. This becomes a cost basis for my tax. So in other words, if up here I get minted some of these tokens at $1.10, that's my cost basis. Then as this continues to oscillate, I've minted these tokens at $1.10, and then I can continue to burn, and then I might burn again at 90 cents. That is a tax loss. Or these tokens that I mint and then I sell them at $1, that is a tax loss. So I can basically manipulate my tax loss and do tax loss harvesting in this particular way whilst also supporting the ecosystem. I don't have to sell any of my initials. Obviously, this first burn will be like whatever my initials were. This is going to be the first one where it's going to be like a taxable event based on my very first tax basis. But after that, this is going to be my new tax basis. And it really depends on the amount of supply I have and how much I'm actually burning. So let's just say I have like, I don't know, let's just, and again, this is just conceptually, this idea might get blown out of the water when I have this talk with Katrina, and she might go, you know what? No, that's completely wrong based on the amount of tokens that you're actually going to get and the amount of tokens that you're actually going to be able to burn. But I'm just going to say this just for argument's sake. So let's just say I have 200 million, not 200 million. Let's say I've got 20 million XUSD tokens, and then I burn 1% of that supply. So I burn 200,000, and then based on everybody else burning a whole bunch of tokens, maybe I end up getting maybe 200,000 tokens back up here. So I'm just going to use just direct numbers here. So I start with 20 million tokens. And basically, again, you have to think about the way that I'm thinking. Well, this is the way that I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking about these stablecoin assets, this portfolio that I'm trying to build. I'm keeping that as my principal. I do not want to ever touch that principal. So if I have a million PDI, that a million PDI, I'm never going to sell it. That a million PDI is always going to be a million PDI, and I'm only ever going to grow on top of that a million PDI through yield. And when I get enough yield, then I'm going to sell the yield. Same as this XUSD. I don't intend on selling the principal. So let's say I have, well, maybe in this instance, obviously it's a little bit different. So let's say I have 220 million, and then I burn. I want to be a good. I burn. So I burn 200,000, and then obviously after I burn 200,000, then I'd end up having what is it? 19,800,000. Oops. So I'd have 19,800,000. So I'm not selling any of the initial, and then I get another 200,000 here. So then I'm back up to my initial, my 20 million. But now, so this was burnt at 90 cents. So that's my taxable event there from my initial XUSDs, which I got down here. Now this obviously becomes purchased or minted tokens at $1.10. So then when I do the same here, then I would burn at 90 cents. So then it's a tax loss. Or this, whatever I choose to burn here, and I don't know how these, again, I don't really know how these rewards are going to go. I don't think it's, I mean, maybe that's what it means where it's not linear. If it was linear, maybe it means if I burn 200,000, then I'm going to get 200,000. Maybe that's not what it's going to be. And I suspect it won't be, but let's just say it is, just for argument's sake. So even if then that 200,000 that I've got here at $1.10, but then I can either burn again at 90 cents, and then I'm burning from the $1.10. So I'm not burning from my original. So each time I burn, it's coming from this new cost basis, which is a negative tax loss. So this is awesome. Or I can obviously then use that to sell. So let's just say I want to buy a purple XUSD Lambo, and I'm going to sell that newly minted token at $1. It's a tax loss. It's a tax loss, and I'm buying a purple Lambo. Obviously, I'm not buying a purple Lambo because I couldn't care about that, but that's just an example. So this concept that I thought about today, I was like, wow, this makes me even more excited about XUSD. So this is what I wanted to jump onto stream today to really share this idea and just kind of give a basic overview of my thinking around it and why I can potentially work on this. But obviously, it's going to really completely depend on the conversation that I have with Katrina. So Katrina knows like the ins and outs of this project like the back of her hand. So I will do a stream with her and she'll explain this in more depth. And I'm really glad that I thought about this prior to that conversation so I can even ask her about this kind of concept. Because if this kind of concept works, XUSD is effing goated. It is effing goated because yeah, like you never really need to sell the principal ever. You would just sell a small percentage of the principal and that's it. And then you're just keeping the main buffet of whatever you've had. And the main buffet of whatever you've had, that's keeping your vibe rating very, very in a very, very good standing. So you're always going to get like max, you're always going to get heaps and heaps of rewards. You can also then, if you wanted to, I mean, this is the beautiful thing about it. I mean, it's going to also create opportunities. This is a tax thing, but it's also going to create opportunities of trading here. This is absolutely going to happen where it's going to bring in traders. So traders are going to just do, wow, I'm going to buy at 90 cents and I'm going to sell at $1.10. So this is how this asset is going to maintain, it's going to vibrate around the $1 mark. So really, really cool concepts around this. And again, I heard another AMA with John and who was the lads he was talking to? My apologies, who it was. Maybe somebody Ireland. But yeah, John has been around, surfacing has been around like stable coins and building stable coins pretty much since he started coding in DeFi. So he's all over it. So yeah, it's just a really, really cool and fascinating concept. So, all right. And then, so obviously, all right, I did cover this before. So now as like a ratio trading idea. So again, obviously I suggested this prior as a liquidity providing idea. Again, it doesn't matter. This is the beautiful thing. So if I look at this from a liquidity provider, so this is as a ratio trading idea, but as a liquidity providing idea, as I said before, in this particular instance, if I had 10,000, then I'd be putting 40,000 XUSD and they both go to $1 and I've got 25,000 each. No big deal. 25,000 each plus all the trading volume that would have occurred through the pair. So 25,000, 25,000 plus probably like, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50% on both sides. Who knows? So you're going to get plus on both sides. That to me is just like so good. I'm so happy I noticed this today. That's really just like, I need to do this ASAP. So yeah, I'm giving you guys the alpha before I even do this for myself. But then also, obviously as a swap idea. So if you're just like, okay, I really just love PDI. I'm just going to swap PDI into XUSD. And then as I showed yesterday, so if you swap 100,000 PDI, you've got 100,000 PDI, swap it here for 400,000 XUSD. And then when you get up to here, then you could swap half of it back when it gets to 1-to-1, and then you've got 200 on each side, and then create a liquidity providing position. Because again, I'm always thinking about how at the end of this bull run, I want to have a very solid stable coin portfolio. I don't want it to be like what happened with Hex, where I basically, we got destroyed in the bear market, and it's a very stressful thing. I want to have like a stable portfolio in stable assets in a bear market, and then that can be the foundation that I grow in the next bull market. Maybe there'll be like, I don't know, maybe out of that stable portfolio, there'll be a percentage that I choose to grow from, but there'll always be like a solid foundation. If I have like 1 million, then maybe I'll end up saying 666,000 stays, never gets touched, and 333,000 is what I use to grow in the bear market. So when we get to the lowest of the low prices, that's when I start swapping my stable assets into the bottoms of Teddy Bear, the bottoms of a Tropa, the bottoms of whatever, PTGC, anything that comes up. So this is how I'm really thinking about it. So yeah, I don't know what you guys think, but for me, once I dig into this idea with Katrina, I'm really excited to dig into this idea, because this tax idea is awesome. This is awesome. And because you really have to think that a lot of this thinking came out of this is why Anders has been an integral part of the team, because Anders is a Hex OG. And so this idea of basically like rewarding participants who support the ecosystem. So as in a vibe pass, so basically you'll get rewarded in your vibe pass by basically holding, providing liquidity, and then you get penalized for selling and doing short-term trading. So obviously the less you trade, the more you hold, the more you support the price, the more rewards you're going to get. So this is something that I also think is a really, really interesting incentive dynamic, which again, it's taking some of the beautiful, elegant principles of Hex and applying them to this Vibratel asset, and hopefully it stays at the dollar. I mean, based on the math, based on everything that John is talking about, it's like he's very, very confident. So even without anything else that goes on the blockchain, just through burning, this will get there. So even the way that the tokens are being distributed out now, that would be mathematically calculated. That obviously it's not an arbitrary number to be distributing 40 million over a 25-week period. It would be calculated in a way that this many token supply is going to happen after 25 weeks. And for us to get to the dollar, this much tokens is going to have to be burnt. And that's what's going to get us to the dollar, with or without trading. If people buy, it's going to get there faster. If people don't buy, it's still going to get there. That's the real beauty of this concept, which is a fantastic concept. It's such a fantastic concept. It's why I'm just so in love with it. And again, it supports the stable mechanism behind all the other P stables. This is the other thing that I really, really love about it. It's not in competition with them. It coexists with them. So what's going on, Marcus? Good to see you in here, brother. What's going on, Matt? Mr. Rock Jockey. Cool project. Not sure how to buy a Vibes Pass, though. So Amir Ali, to buy a Vibe Pass, you got to buy one swap. So basically, just like I showed, where did I show it? I think it was in this one here. Or maybe it was in this one rather. So yeah, on the website, you would go to, on the XUSD website, so all the links are in the description. You would go to buy a Vibe Pass, and then you would approve it. And then basically you'd approve it. You would have some, then you would go through your Rabby or your MetaMask. If you've got MetaMask, step one, get off MetaMask. Like it's Bug Eater Tech, at least get Rabby or internetmoneywallet.io. And then approve. And then it costs 224,422. Hey, look at that. 2224422. That's a pretty cool number. That's a nice little 333. So yeah, then obviously you have to buy one swap. So then you would basically buy some one swap, and I would recommend obviously getting some one swap, obviously with the best liquidity route. And I suspect Pulse Chain will be a really good liquidity route. So what's going on, Jesu? Duke of Booze, what's going on, bro? Yeah, this is great. Going to get on it tomorrow's Vibe Pass first and then get some XUSD. Nice one, Matt Wilson. Good stuff, man. Yeah, honestly, I think this is really, really, really awesome. And I think that this, I'm pretty much, yeah, I pretty much love the idea of staking with PDI and XUSD. And then obviously the other thing to really, I'll go into more of these stuff in more details, but then you can go to like trading. So there's like, let's have a look. So there's like epochs that occur every 6 hours, I think. So there's like continual rewards. So XUSD trading dashboard. So this is epoch 2. So now it's on epoch. Oops. Oh, nice. Okay, so it's renewed. So these are the pending rewards. So basically, I think I don't fully understand this concept yet, but at the moment now it's up to the. So this is the trading pair. So you could basically claim these rewards if you're providing liquidity. I think everyone can do this. The trading. Let me just have a look at if there's anything in here about the trading rewards. Security audits. There will be something somewhere, no doubt about it. So vaults. Vibe class, vibe score by. I might go into that in another one because it's still something that's I'm basically like people have explained it and surfacing has explained it. So I'm probably going to have to go back and re-listen. But just by clicking the buttons is how I learn, and talking about it is how I learn. So I don't want to like give any misinformation. But basically, this is another way where you can earn rewards. So. Where was I? I've clicked too many. Where was I? I forgot where it was. Here we go. This one here. So yeah, this is another way that you can basically compound in your pool by claiming these rewards. Then there's reward. You can like swap for rewards in here as well. So this stuff is just like dopamine inducing. It's fun. So it's almost just like, if you know it's every 6 hours, you're on your computer every 6 hours, you can just check and click buttons, and it's kind of like gambling. You know, it's not like gambling, but you know, that kind of like you know, you're just clicking and seeing numbers, and the numbers is fun to see, and you're just like, oh, that equals a value, and it's got a value. So it has this kind of like it's like a sort of positive it's like a dopamine feedback loop. But obviously, it can be negative if you're just sitting here clicking all day, but it's only every 6 hours. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. And then obviously this is heavily connected to love.io. So I'm not going to go into this tonight, but this will be something that I want to go into in more depth in the future. But Anders, I had a chat with Anders about this. So this is Anders' project, so love.io. So this is what I like about this is it's a marketplace. It's an online marketplace. So just kind of like Amazon. But basically, you're getting rewarded in love tokens. And love tokens are heavily bonded with XUSD. So there's a strong relationship between love and XUSD, which also for me, just conceptually, it vibes a lot. So I'm going to do more of a dive onto this, but I do really like the idea of this because, I mean, any integration of like real world assets with cryptocurrency is bullish for me. So this was basically the first project of its kind on Pulse Chain. So yeah, this is definitely something that I want to familiarize myself with more over time. But like I said, I'm not going to do it in this particular one. So I'm going to leave it short and sweet tonight. And I'm just going to finish on a little lull for everyone. So obviously our boy Dickie Hart, we're getting close. So I'm not into numerology. But in terms of it's not that I'm not into numerology. I've mentioned this a few times, but even like Chinese New Year's, all that sort of stuff, I wouldn't say that I'm like big into it, but it's like the Eastern version, like the Chinese New Year. And so even in Korea, where the meditation that I do originates from, it's like a big thing when it's like a new year. So the new year is on the 29th of January. And the 29th of January is also 90 days, exactly 90 days after the court case where there was the appeal for the dismissal. So it's usually between 60 and 90 days that a decision is made. So basically, realistically, that should be the last day. So, but obviously it might not. I don't know if it's like legally required to be like 90 days is the absolute cutoff, but it will be, like also literally the stars are aligning this year. So literally this year, all the planets are literally they're heading towards like a pure alignment. So if you're a flat earther, that's probably going to trigger you. But if you're a globe tard like I am, then the planets are all literally aligned this year. So this year is like, it's a big year. There's a lot of energetic things happening. Numerology, it's also a big year in numerology for the new Chinese New Year. So yeah, the fact that January 29 is a new year, it's that big date for the SEC. So always in support of my boy Richard Hart. So he's getting there. So I just thought this was funny. This was a funny little meme. So I'm just going to end on this. You guys can't hear any sound? Damn. You got to have sound. I'm going to have to reshare that. Hang on a second. If there's no sound. Pooey. I thought I put the sound on. So is there any sound? There's supposed to be sound. 1 second. Are you sure there was no sound? That's bizarre. It shouldn't. It should be. Okay. All right. Let's give it another try. Let's watch this from the start. So before we watch it again, just the context of this as well. Obviously, this is a meme. This is a joke, but there was a really good talk today with Corey Costa and Toby One Hexobi. And Toby One at the end was talking about two wolves and this old Native American parable of like this child that had like an inner demon. And then he's asking his father or the chief or whatever it was, like, what's going on? And the chief is like, you got two wolves in you. It's basically like the negative and the positive forces. The one that you feed the most is the one that wins. And so even collectively as a community, if we keep putting negative energy out into the community, into the world, that's the thing that we're feeding the most energetically. Like, it's not something that you can see with your mind. It's not something that you can see with your eyes. You only know it with your true mind. So I really continue only to just keep trying to put as much positive energy as I can. So as it happens individually, it also happens collectively because everything is just the one mind. Now, he was talking to conclude that Pulse Chain is a DeFi revolution. Why is it that Richard Hart's projects have received more FUD than any other project on the planet, probably in human history? Why? Like, every major influencer hates him. It's got to be more than him just having an abrasive character. There's got to be more to it than that. I believe it's because Hex represents basically the eradication of the entire financial system, because the CFD, the blockchain CFD, is basically like, well, we no longer need yield from gold, stocks, bond, anything in TradFi, commodities. We don't need any of that shit because we've got Hex and it's better yield. And everyone that can just go into it can just get yield from that. So it basically like deletes all of that. It makes it invalid. So that's why I believe he gets the most hate and FUD, because it's those dark forces of the old world that are like puppeteering all these and creating all these blockchains and puppeteering everything and putting all this FUD everywhere. And so it's got to be more than him just being a dick. It's got to be more than that, because this was happening like before his outrage marketing phase. And then you look at Pulse Chain, it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same. The depth of like animosity towards him, it's got to be more than outrage marketing. There's more to it than that. It's really like it's a spiritual battle. And that's why even when Richard came out and said like, there's higher forces at work here and they're on our side. They're on our side because it's the age of truth. So with that in mind, let's have a watch of this just for a bit of lols.
Emotional damage.
All right, so ending on a light note. A light but serious note. Let's always keep putting the positivity out there, fam. Thanks for staying tuned. Thanks for enjoying this episode. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for interacting. Please like, please share it out. And like I said at the very start, I will start cutting these videos down as well. So during the day when I go to the gym and do my leaflet drops, I basically take note. I do the what is it? Because people have been asking for the timestamps. So I do the timestamps, and as I'm doing the timestamps, then also it gives me like times that I can actually start cutting these down. So if the streams go for like 2 hours, all the best bits, I'll put that into like 2 or 3 shorter episodes, like 20-minute episodes and 10-minute episodes. And then I'm going to start releasing them in peak American time. So yeah, I mean, for me, as I listen to my videos, I'm like, holy shit, there's some serious alpha in these videos. I mean, sometimes it's waffle, but sometimes I'm even like really impressed with myself. I'm like, where did I come up with this stuff? So anyway, yeah, it's all universe mind, baby. So thanks very much, everybody. Take care. Have a good day. Have a good night. Have a good evening.